Man, finally, we finally got it to work. I was like, man, this is the first time this done happened to me like this.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm glad it was, we got it to go through, man. That's like that old saying you hear, disruption always follows your intentions.
Man.
You
See,
said
that's
you
why I'm glad
that's
to
how you
talk to
know
you
you're
because
on
I
the
see you
right
reading them
track.
books. I see you reading them books and stuff. So you probably gonna have a lot of knowledge to share tonight, man. I can't wait.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I certainly hope so. I hope so.
So everything good. You can hear me good and everything, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, for sure.
Right. Cool. Well, first and foremost, I appreciate you. I'm gonna call you by your real name. We can get to the rah-rah in a minute, but Mr. Ryshawd Irving, I appreciate you for joining the Some Get It Some Don't podcast. I know we've been trying to get this in the works for a while, and we finally heard, baby. We even had some technical difficulties today, but we heard, man. So I thank you for joining the podcast today.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me. I'm glad to be on.
So what I like to do for those people who may not know you, I know most of the people who probably gonna watch gonna know you, but they may not know some of the intricate details. So let's start. And what I try to do is I try to build it up and go in chronological order. So if you can kind of start back from like just your earliest memories of yourself, and we don't have to get to junior high, high school, or nothing. So let's just start with some early memories that you can remember of Lubbock or wherever else you kind of grew up. Let's touch on that.
Okay, well, early memories for me started in East Lubbock. I was born in 1987. My mother was originally in California, and my grandmother dated a longshoreman out in Long Beach, and that didn't work out. So my mother ended up moving back to Texas, and I was born here, in 87 at University Medical Center. And man, I just remember growing up in a loving family. My grandmother, the way she would show her love is through cooking. She was a very good cook. My grandmother was a very good cook. One of my fondest memories of her is her frying chicken with sweet rice and biscuits. And she would also make one of my favorites, which is fish and spaghetti. It's unorthodox when you think of it, but when you pair the two together, it makes for a great dish. And
Before
so
you
my grand.
continue, I gotta stop you because I'm gonna be honest with
Okay.
you. I barely heard about the fish and spaghetti maybe 5 years ago. Like maybe I'm talking about maybe
Yeah.
2 or 3 years ago. So you saying you had this from as a little kid?
As a little kid, I remember my grandmother frying the fish and then making a big pot of spaghetti, and it was sweet spaghetti with a little kick to it.
Dang, that's
Yeah.
crazy, man. I never heard about that. And like I said, I say five, but it really probably was 2 or 3 years ago for real.
Oh, okay, okay. Yeah, yeah. I don't know if are you familiar with the rapper Larry June on one of his tracks. He talks about taking a chick to eat some fish and spaghetti. The prominent rapper Larry June. Shout out to Larry June. He talked about that fish and spaghetti for sure.
Man, that's crazy, man. I guess I just was lost in the sauce or something, but I see a lot of people eat it, and it's been like on social media, even kind of what you kind of mentioned, but even putting the sugar in spaghetti and stuff too. So I guess I just been lost, I guess.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. You're gonna have to get down on that fish and spaghetti and put you some good old honey in there or some agave to sweeten it up, man. And I know you keep the ladies, a man of your caliber, you keep a woman over there, so you're gonna have to get down with some fish and
Boy,
spaghetti for sure.
hey man, I'm over here. I ain't got no woman over here, baby. It's me and the black couch, baby. I eat out every day, man.
Ah, okay, okay, yes, sir. Ain't nothing wrong with it.
Okay, well,
Yes,
you
sir.
kind of touched on, the kind of the earlier stages. And correct me if I'm wrong, because of course, we getting older now. But if I'm not mistaken, you attended Owls Elementary, correct?
Owls Elementary, the Owls Crusaders, man. And the Owls was a special place, especially back then, because if I'm not mistaken, it was a magnet program and they weren't just letting anybody in. You had to, be of a certain caliber and have a certain acumen in order to get into Owls Elementary for sure, especially back then, because kids from different communities of South Lubbock, West Lubbock, Southwest Lubbock, North Lubbock. they would actually get bussed over, or their parents would bring them to Al's Elementary because it was a magnet program. And so you might have been in a class with Asians, white kids, Indian kids. So it was like a melting pot back then. Al's was a special place. Yes, sir. It
That's
was
great.
just we.
I never even knew that. Like until today, I didn't know that it was like melting pot. I just assumed that everybody that lived in DA, all that. I just thought that they all went to school there. I never knew that it was multiple different, ethnicities and backgrounds. I didn't know that until today.
Yes, sir. Learn something new every day. But yeah, now the kids from the neighborhood automatically that would be their home school because that would be the school that was closest to them. But yes, you had different kids from different ethnicities or different ethnic groups that would get bussed over, or like I say, their parents would bring them to Al's Elementary because of the education that they would be able to receive, and because of the arts, the performing arts. We had gymnastics, we had piano, and we had some nice art classes as well over at Al's Elementary. I remember, you know how you get to junior high and you're only in class for a certain amount of time and then the bell rings and you go on to the next
Yep.
class? That's how Al's was. So imagine being in elementary school, but it's already structured like a junior high or high school. You had your homeroom for sure, but then after a certain amount of time, once the bell rings, you're going to computers. Once the bell rings, you're going to gymnastics. Once the bell rings, you're going to art class. And so that was something that was uh very different about Owls back then. They were very forward with their thinking and the way that they had the school structured. It was already preparing you for that high school slash college type of program as a kid, as a youngster, which was very good. Yes, sir.
It's dope. So I'm gonna kind of combine two things. So let's move on through this journey to junior high. But I also want to touch on because you were exposed to a lot of stuff early. So did you have like any dreams or aspirations at that age of like what you wanted to do? And of course, we can come full circle to what you ended up doing. But what did you initially want to do, being exposed to some of those things at an early age, and then of course talk about junior high.
Well, back then, I wanted to be Emmitt Smith. Emmitt Smith was my favorite running back for the Dallas Cowboys. He broke so many records, set records, and I was a prominent YFL running back.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
so
yeah.
I wanted to be Emmitt Smith. I wore his number. I had the little ankle braces. I had the stickers on my helmet. I was the team captain, and so I wanted to be Emmitt Smith back then. But like you said, it ended up being something different. I went into real estate, of course, but sports was my first love. I wanted to be Emmitt Smith, and then later on, probably around the seventh grade or so, I wanted to be Allen Iverson.
Hey, hey. So you
Allen
kind of touched
Iverson was
on
that
seventh grade.
guy.
So talking about Allen Iverson, and of course hooping, because as I said, it's funny because I really do remember that, running back and stuff. But of course, as we got older, I remember you from basketball and hooping and stuff. So, but I do remember you being the football player. But it's just crazy to think about because most hoopers be hoopers. They don't really do the football stuff. So that's crazy. But let's talk about your time in junior high.
Junior high, I love Dunbar Junior High School. Dunbar Junior High School, it was diverse as well. We had a good sports program over there with Coach Chapman. I remember Coach Levisay, Coach Walker, and many other coaches that were very influential and that motivated you, that wanted you to go out and perform to your highest level. Those coaches were all very inspirational. They were leaders of men, and they galvanized us. They galvanized us. It was a certain amount of pride that you had when you stepped out on the field and you were in that maroon at Dunbar Junior High School. And it just didn't start on the field. It started in the classroom, because if you didn't make the grade, you weren't going to be able to perform out on the field. And so that was one of the things that has stuck with me, throughout the course of my life. Competitive athletics, I say this all the time, it's good to put kids in competitive athletics and get them involved early because it transitions over into life. If you're competitive In sports, you're going to be competitive in the classroom, and then you're going to be competitive in life. And I'm a true believer of that.
Man, I agree. And I was just talking to somebody about that. And we kind of was diving deep into something else, but I was telling people that I think, and sometimes it's not about being a hater or anything like that. It's if you grew up being competitive in sports, if I see you out, of course, I'm gonna give you kudos. Hey, Ryshawd, you doing your thing, but at the same time, I'm like, shit, I'm trying to get, I'm trying to get to where you get to and past you too, though. Now,
That's right. That's
so,
right.
and I think that's a good thing. It don't necessarily have to be that I'm hating or I don't want to see you do good or I'm just trying to do better than you. It's that we used to being competitive. So I agree that helps you in so many different facets of this thing we call life. So I do agree 100% with what you're saying as far as being competitive because it teaches you a lot of stuff, how to be a team player, how to
Mm-hmm.
handle losing, how to handle losing. I'm sorry, and even
Yes.
how to be graceful in winning. So it
Yes.
teaches you a lot. So I do agree with that competitive athletics for sure.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, well, we're gonna, move it on up. So let's go ahead and touch on high school now. So let's now you becoming a man. You didn't experience a lot of things at an early age from Isles. You went to Dunbar. So now we go to high school. Let's touch on that.
Estacada High School. The my funnest year was my freshman year because of the upperclassmen. Of course, you guys were juniors, but then you had cats like Tremaine Carr, Marty Moss, so many others that I can't think of off the top of my head. But it was just a pride thing. They had pride, out there on the football field. The basketball team was good, and just the overall camaraderie of the school. Even the administration, you had Dr. Frazier, Mr. Gatika, Miss Watson. The administration was good, and then you had the teachers that cared. You had different programs. You had like the AVID program. I don't know if you remember AVID. I
Yep.
can't remember the acronym and what it stood for, but
And then like advanced via individual determination or something like that.
hey, you got some pretty good, some damn good memory. That's exactly what it was, man. And I remember having to take those Cornell notes. Remember the Cornell notes and all of that good
Yep.
stuff?
Yep. I do
Yeah,
remember that.
yeah, man, I remember that. And then the English teacher, Miss Harris, she didn't cut any corners. Basically, what I'm
No.
getting at with that is they really had you ready, for college once you left Estacada High School. I remember taking dual credit courses. So by the time I graduated high school, I already had hours going towards my college degree, by being over at Estacado. So Estacado was very good to me. Estacado, uh for me, and what it meant for me, to sum it up in a nutshell, is kind of to piggyback off of what you said. It showed you how to be graceful in winning. It shows you how to accept the losses and grow and learn from the losses. you know and it showed you how to be prepared to go out and be a productive member of society, just through the different experiences we had, and the different programs that we went through at Estacado. It definitely transitioned over for sure.
And so since we on Estacado, I want to talk about this because I didn't get to get this perspective, but you did. For those who don't know, like Alderson is most definitely not a junior high anymore, like it was when we were coming up. But how did it feel, or how was the transition for you going from competing against some of these people to now being teammates? Or I know back then people don't really remember this, but it was a lot of beef back then with the East Side. Like if you was from DA and you was from Parkway, I'm not saying you was killing each other, but it was a little hot and heavy, you know what I'm saying? Especially when it come down to sports and women.
Yes,
That's just what it was.
yes.
So now you going from being rivals to now we on the same team, we walk in the same hall, the same classroom. So can you touch on that transition a little bit?
Well, it was all love. Of course, initially, it was, you'll have the back and forth action about, no, I went to Dunbar. We beat y'all in this game, or we beat y'all in city. And so, you have that aspect of it. But then once you combine the two and you down there in the trenches and you having to battle with this man, to beat whoever is across from you, then that's where the love came in. And that's where you earn the respect of your peers, was in the different practices. When you happen to do super matadors, and you out there running sprints, and you running suicides, and you getting swats for acting up in class, clowning around and all of that good stuff. And then, I miss those bus rides. When you go out of town and you back there freestyling on the back of the bus,
Yeah.
cutting
Freestyling.
up. You know what I'm saying? Like that's I miss those times. That's when that's where the camaraderie came in, because you earned the respect of your peers in the weight room, during practices, in the trenches, in the games, when it's a tight score and you have to depend on your counterpart to hit the big shot, or to take the charge, or to get the rebound, And so, yes, sir, that's when it all came together.
Okay, so we gotta backtrack just a little bit. I want to know,
Okay.
when did you transition from wanting to be Emmitt Smith to being strictly a hooper? Like, what was that transition? What was that pivot? What made you decide to take that route?
Well, back, just really my whole life, my Uncle Larry, a lot of people know Larry Joe, he ran the Parkway Neighborhood Center. So even
Yeah.
when I was coming up playing football, I would still go to the Parkway Neighborhood Center on Saturdays and Sundays. And then back then, in the summertime, if you lose, you're gonna be off there on the sideline for you. It might be over for you for the rest of the day.
You gotta
You
go play that
know?
little side goal over there because that's it. That's it. That is it, bro. That
Yeah,
is it.
yeah. You had to have something for real, and that's what I tell the youngsters. A lot of cats don't have a left hand. A lot of cats can't hit the mid range jump shot. You had to have a complete game back then. You had cats that could really hoop, like my cousin DeMark Wilson. D. Wilson was a real hooper. My cousin
Yep.
Artavius Davis. Tay Tay, he was a real hooper. So I grew up around cats that really had some on the basketball court. And I was able to kind of sit back and watch them take different things from both of their games and implement them into my own. I'd say around the fifth grade, going into the sixth is when I really started to gain a love for basketball more, because I started to notice, okay, I'm not going to be the biggest guy, but I had enough physical strength and enough toughness from football to where it would transition or translate, whatever term you want to use, onto the basketball court, because it made me, I was a point guard, but by me, you know, uh, being tougher than most, and being able to play defense and all of that good stuff, it made me, it made me formidable, for sure, for sure. But Allen Iverson and the and one mixtapes, I remember going to Foot Action one summer. That all of a sudden the and one is everywhere. I'm like, what is this new craze? And
Them little
one was
slip-on
everywhere.
shoes was them little slip-on shoes was the ones, boy. Them was the
Yes,
ones.
yes.
Them
And then
black and blue ones, I had them joints.
you had to have them, huh, fam?
I had to have them joints, boy. Ooh.
Yeah. So and one, and you couple that with Allen Iverson, he was taking off around that time. I'm like, man, I want to be a hooper, because you got guys like Skip to Malou, Hot Sauce, all of them cats is out there. They have it on the and one. Their hair is long and one side braided, one side not. And it was just like the hot thing to do. And so I was working on my crossover, because you see Allen Iverson killing them with the killer crossover. So I'm outside in the driveway practicing all summer on my killer crossover. Yes, sir. And so around, between the fifth and the seventh grade is when my love for basketball kind of overtook football. And then once I got to Dunbar and I seen that cats were still growing and getting bigger than me, I knew. I was like, yeah, by the time I get to the ninth or 10th grade, football gonna be a wrap for me. And that's why I gotta give you your flowers. Because even though you were a shorter guy, a smaller guy in stature, you was tough. You was
Hey,
tough.
I appreciate that.
You would go across the middle. You could run deep routes. You could take the contact, and these guys is 2 or 3 times your size. So it takes some heart for you to go out there and get in the trenches with those guys bigger than you and really be out there doing it. And then you would be signaling first down and all of this kind of stuff once you caught the rock. I'm like, man, this guy Tukey is different. Ain't no way in hell I'm finna be getting out here getting racked up by these big old country guys from Hertford and Caprock and
Friendship
all
and
of
everything.
and every all oh nah, I say yeah, Tukey different. He really tough. So I gotta give you your flowers in that regard. Cause when a lot of cats was going to off-season basketball, you was still stand still saying, nah, I'm a football player. And you was adamant about it. I'm a football player. I play basketball for fun, but I play football, and you were serious about it. So I salute you in that regard.
Man, I sure appreciate that. And it's funny that you say that because I vividly remember playing YFL and my Uncle Keith was my coach, right? And I actually
Mm-hmm.
played defense at the time. And this is what's so ironic. They was like, man, you too good. You need to play offense. I'm like, man, I'm scared to get hit. But I was wanting to hit people, but I didn't want to get hit. You know what I'm saying? So, like, coming full circle, like you said, to playing receiver, I went from like being a tackling DB that's kind of unheard of to now playing receiver and not afraid of contact. But in YFL, they put your boy in running back. But I got toe up back there. I said, nah, I need to be the one delivering these hits, man. I can't be taking these hits.
I heard
So,
that.
but I sure appreciate you, you know what I'm saying, giving me my flowers. That's crazy because you're like the second person I've interviewed that's said that. So I be humble about it. I know I wasn't the D1 material or nothing like that, but I did some things in college if I would have pursued it. But by the time I got to college, they said intramurals and I ain't got to practice. I said, yeah, I'm done. I'm done with football. So let's play some flag football, man. So I sure appreciate that for real.
Yes, sir, for sure, for sure.
Man, I should have started with this, but you kind of touched on it, so I want to kind of run back as well. But let's talk about the your family dynamics. You know, like you said, your mom was in Cali, of course. For those who know, you know your brother Melvin, but the Wilson family or your family and all, like let's just touch on that because I think that's something that needs to be touched on. Because growing up, as you said, if you was part of the East Side, if you went to the Parkway Neighborhood Center, you knew about the Wilsons. Like you knew. And so, of course, that's
Facts.
part of your family. So let's touch on that a little bit.
Let me think of a way I can say this. That whole family dynamic, when I first met them, I was a my mom was a outstanding my mom, outstanding mom. My grandmother, outstanding grandmother. My biological father was in California. So me running into the Wilsons and my mom getting with my stepdad was everything I didn't know I needed. Those people are classy people. Those people know how to go about doing things. They went about doing things a certain way. And so sometimes you're able to just observe people and pick up on certain things and you can observe and learn how to be a man from watching other real men. Larry Joe, real man. My uncle Don, real man, got up to work every morning at 4 o'clock. He had a route with Pepsi for 20 years, Coca-Cola. He worked for a vending machine company. Um, my pops, he's always been in the mental health field. So he was very disciplined because he was an ex-army vet. I remember him having to go to Desert Storm overseas and stuff like that. And he instilled discipline in us. So me coming, my mom and my pops getting together and the Wilsons with the Jordans merging because my aunt ended up marrying my mom's sister. It was two sisters that married two brothers. So the Jordans going off and marrying the Wilsons, that was everything because I was able to dissect certain things from my Uncle Larry, from my Uncle Don, and my pops. Like he was so disciplined to where if we would come home sometimes from school and all of our shoes would be thrown out into the floor. All of our clothes would be thrown out from the dresser drawers. All of the like underwear, socks, all of that would just be on the bed because all of our socks had to be in a certain drawer. All of our underwear, a certain drawer. White t-shirts, certain drawer. Pants, shorts in a certain drawer, pants hung up in a closet, shoes properly aligned in the closet. And so that discipline aspect of it definitely stuck with me and it helped mold me into the man that I am. Because how you do one thing is how you do everything. You
And that's
know.
crazy. These people that I follow say that all the time, man. They say that all the time, and it's true. It's you don't think about it, but it's true. It's very
Hmm.
true.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. For sure. For sure. It's all inclusive. It's all inclusive, man. So, and then the other aspect of it, I got to meet with some great cousins. One of my cousins, Tawanda, she went off to the Air Force, but she ended up getting her master's degree. She's a good example of what it is to be a young woman out here on your grind, setting goals, attaining goals, and still striving to do more. My older sisters, I was able to meet them, and they took me under their wings. Like I told you a while ago, my cousin Demark, he's in upper level management with Hilton. So having all of these good examples, men and women alike, definitely showed me that I can pretty much do anything I put my mind to, and as long as I'm able to work hard and stay positive.
That's why I said I had to touch on that because I knew the dynamic from the outside, and I could see, like, of course, how y'all grew up. Of course, I knew your older sisters, obviously, but of course, we grew up, me, you, Melvin, all of us around the same age. So I saw like how y'all grew up, and like the discipline that y'all had as well. But just seeing y'all at the park when they were sitting, you could tell, like, you can always tell the people that come from a good, solid family home, and they have good, morals and good just upbringing. You can always tell that. So that's why I wanted to touch on that so everybody else could know the intricate details because I didn't know about throwing your clothes out and having everything aligned. That's pretty intense, but it helps you to get to where you need to go to as well.
Thanks. Yes, sir.
All right, so we didn't cover like kind of the upbringing. So let's touch on like some things or some pivotal moments that happen like after you become a man, you graduate. Like where did life take Ryshawd after at that point?
Well, after graduating high school, I had some acceptance letters from all kind of universities here in Texas. UT Arlington, UTSA, San Angelo State, your alma mater, UTEP. I had a lot of different offers, academic offers. I already had
Yeah,
decided that I didn't.
he didn't mention that, but he was like that too in the classroom. So
Oh, for sure. Definitely. Both of my parents definitely instilled in us, the importance of academics and the importance of a college education and stuff early on in life. And so, yeah, I had some academic offers, but I let my parents talk me into staying here in Lubbock, Texas. So what I done was I just stayed at home the first 2 years, saved my money, and I went to South Plains Junior College, and I paid for it out of pocket while working at McDonald's. And by the time I was 18, McDonald's had put me in a management position. I used to see you coming through the drive-through all the time, and so I
yeah.
was a manager at McDonald's for a number of years, and I got my associate's degree from South Plains Junior College. And then after going there for 2.5 years, I started going to Texas Tech where I was pursuing my bachelor's degree. And unfortunately, life got to life, and I didn't end up finishing my bachelor's degree, but I became successful nonetheless.
Gotcha, gotcha. And that's kind of how life works, You may have this plan. As I tell people, of course, I have 2 degrees, but a lot of people don't know I was on academic probation, suspension before, just doing the most. I was in college. I was trying to live it up. You know what I'm saying? So I stayed in college for like 8 years. So my thing is, most people think you're supposed to go for it and then go to and be done. Nah, not me, baby. I was in there trying to thug it out. So the fact that you even went and pursued an associate's degree and got it and attained it, that's an accomplishment. I was just talking to somebody the other day and they was like, I don't want to walk for no associate's degree. And I'm like, why not?
Why
You put in the
not?
work. You put in the work. I'm gonna try to go
Yes.
celebrate. You know what I'm saying? So kudos to you for doing that. You know what I'm saying? Because it could have not been possible, but you still pursued that while going to school. I mean, while working. So kudos to you for that.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
So you touched on this earlier, so we're gonna bring it back up. So how did you get into real estate? Like what was the first connection or what drew you to actually work in real estate?
Real estate came about through a good buddy of mine. He is in Houston, Texas now. He owns, I want to say, about 12 to 14 properties here in Lubbock, Texas. And him and I were conversing one time, and he was like, "Man, you really need to get into buying the properties." And he started off with one property, and next thing you know, he had like five of them. And of course, me being a competitor, like like we spoke about, I'm like, man, well, you know what? Let me get into this real estate thing and just try it out and see if it's for me. If I like it, I like it. If I don't, I don't. And I tell you what, Antoine, the first of the month comes around relatively quick. You'd be
Yes, it
surprised,
does.
you know, how quick the first of the month rolls around. And I
As
just
a person
started.
paying rent, trust me, I know.
I know that's right. I know that's right. And it's like, you know, when you initially get into it, yes, you have to do your research. Yes, you have to do your due diligence and go in and make the properties decent or make them nice to where someone will want to rent it from you and want to pay their rent. But at the same time, if you're looking for passive income, mailbox money that's going to be there at the beginning of every month, then real estate is a very promising path that you could take.
So, touching on real estate and passive income, mailbox money, I'm glad you used those terms because a lot of us didn't understand what those or knew even hear what those terms were until we got older. But what are your thoughts on doing something just to make money versus actually having a passion for it and making money? Because I know a lot of us, we want to make money, and some of us have jobs and we have things that we do on the side. But what some advice you would give us as far as doing something that actually makes money, but doing something that you're passionate about that potentially could make money or that does make money? How do you feel about those two things?
I always go back to the term use the money to love the people and don't love the money to use people. Do it the opposite way around. Use the money to love the people and don't abuse the money in order to get over on people and stuff like that. And the reason why I say that is because, like you just said, to answer the question, if you're not really passionate about people and don't want to see people in a nice space, in a nice environment, and want to help people get to the next level and want to see people flourish and be prosperous and all of that, then you're doing it for the wrong reasons. If you're just doing it strictly for the money, you're not going to last long in it because all you're concerned about is the money. You have to do it for the people because what happens if a tenant is late this month? What happens if a tenant can't pay the rent for 2 months and they need you to allow them to stay in the property, and then they get you on the back end? You always have to be considerate of the people in order to continue to reap your blessings and stay blessed, and so I've never been one of those people that feels as though you should just hop into it for the money. The money is good. The money should just be a byproduct. To sum it all up, the money is just a byproduct, but you want to do right by people, and you want to see people, be able to flourish, and so that's my perspective on that.
Yeah, I'm glad that you said it that way. And before we leave this topic, I know that over the past few years, we have a lot of people that use the term gatekeeping. So my question to you is, for those people who watch this podcast and are very interested in pursuing real estate, would you mind being a resource for those people to call or reach out to say, hey, Ryshawd, I'm trying to, buy some property. Like, would you be willing to do so? Because going back to what we said, sometimes people look at it as competition. Like, I don't want to give you the game because you're gonna do it. And I'm like, bro, you can't buy everything. Like, what me and I was talking to my cousin about this as well. How it should go is, hey, Tugi, I'm gonna teach you the game, but what we're gonna do is this property 30, I'm gonna put 15, you put 15. I'm gonna
Nice.
make some money, you make some money, but I'm gonna teach you how to do it. That way, it makes sense for both of us. But I know some people that won't tell any information and help anybody out. are you willing to be that resource or provide other resources for those people interested in doing it?
Absolutely, man. I love to be a helping hand in any way I can, man. You let me know any people that need any assistance in the real estate arena, and I love to be of assistance. You know, it's a quick step process. Matter of fact, I can walk you through it right now. If anyone that's listening to this podcast, if you're interested in getting into real estate and you have some capital, some money built up, all you have to do is go down to the Lubbock Central Appraisal District. You can Google it. It's right there on Avenue Q between 19th and 34th Street, Lubbock Central Appraisal District. You go in there with your driver's license, you pay $10, and they're going to run a search on your name to make sure you don't owe any outstanding property taxes. Once they run the search, they're going to call you, they're going to give you a number, and that essentially serves as your bid number. Go down to the Lubbock County Courthouse. You don't even have to bid. You can just go in the first time and see how things work. And once you go in there, you're gonna get an adrenaline rush because you're gonna see opening bids starting on these homes that you can buy free and clear. The opening bid that on the dollar amount, it depends on the area of the home. Uh, it also depends on the square footage of the home. And then the last variable would be the outstanding property tax that is owed on the home. So that's how the opening bid is determined. I've seen opening bids start at 15,000. You know, I've seen different people in the community get a home for 16,000. I've gotten one for 30,000. So you can go in there and you can actually bid on the home and walk away with owning that home, go in and renovate the home and rent the home out or put it back on the market and sell the home. So it's a lot of different options that you have in real estate that can assist you in building generational wealth for you and your family, and your future family, kids, grandkids, whatever may come down the pike in the future.
Glad you gave us the step-by-step tutorial. And I'm also glad that you're willing to be a resource because a lot of people, so that's like me. My clothing brand ain't, where it needs to be as far as being global, but all the stuff that I've learned, I'm willing to share with anybody who has a clothing brand who want to get it started. I'll show you how to, as far as the designs, who to contact, whatever you need. I'm gonna show you, and I'm gonna try to help you because it's enough people in the world, man. Like I just don't see myself, gatekeeping all this information. So that's dope that
Yes.
you're one of those people that's willing to share the information as well.
Thank you. And I'm glad you said that because when you talk about gatekeepers and the whole analogy of crabs in the bucket, you know, it's like people shouldn't let the next person's success derail them or feel like it's taken away from their success in any arena, because
Correct.
last time that I checked, Ozarka Ozarka, they not stopping Dasani from selling any water,
They not
you
stopping the
know?
cinch yet. It's still rocking
Yes,
and rolling. Still
you
rocking
know,
and rolling.
Nike is not stopping Under Armour from selling anything. McDonald's is not stopping from Chick-fil-A from selling any Chick-fil-A sandwiches. And so whatever it is that you aspire to do, don't let the next person's success uh derail you from pursuing your goals and dreams. It's enough out here for everybody. All it is figuring out your niche, what it is you want to do, and your market. Once you figure out your niche, what it is you want to do, the next thing to do is, well, who do I want to market this to? And once you figure that out, that's the name of the game. Well, that's why McDonald's is so successful. They know that their market is people that want to spend $1 on a double cheeseburger. That's why Chick-fil-A is successful. They don't want McDonald's customers. That when you go to Chick-fil-A, you know you're not finna get no dollar chicken sandwich. You don't want a dollar Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich. That's why you went to Chick-fil-A. The same thing with Neiman's. Neiman's Marcus doesn't want Walmart customers. When people go in Neiman's, they know they finna spend $500 on this bottle of cologne. They know they finna go in here and spend $1,000 on this Versace belt. You know what I'm saying? And so once you figure that out, set your price and live your life.
Set your price and live your life. I like that. just to kind of little two fun facts. We both had Chick-fil-A today. We both had the salad, so we already knew what we
Oh
was going
my
in there.
God.
We knew what we was going in there to get. You know what I'm saying? So we both had the salad, and also just so y'all know, I don't know the prices of Neiman Marcus because I don't be in there, but obviously my brother be in I be at American Eagle, baby. So I don't know no Neiman Marcus prices. I heard of Neiman Marcus, I've seen it, and I see it, and I go right to American Eagle. So I just had to put that little two my little 2 cents on Neiman Marcus in there.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right, man, we're gonna move this along. So everybody that I talk to, man, it's crazy because I think all of us has experienced something, whether it's a loss of a loved one, a job, something, sickness, blah, blah, blah. And unfortunately, you dealt with something as well. So we don't have to touch on the ins and outs of the details of the situation, but let's just speak on the loss of your cousin and how that impacted you and some things as far as I mean, I don't know. I just see it as far as like how you're there for his kids and stuff like that. Just kind of touch on that, like the impact of it, and if anything changed with you or about you, like just let's touch on that as well.
First off, I would like to say, if anyone has dealt with any loss, it can be a relationship loss. It doesn't have to be a loss in death. Any type of loss that's plaguing you mentally, anything that you're going through mentally, I advise anybody to seek a therapist, especially in the Black community, because it's not spoken about enough in our community. When I lost my cousin, I had to get a therapist. And that was the best $100 I ever spent for an hour of my life. It changed my perspective and my mentality and my way of thinking, particularly the way I process things. Just by me talking to a stranger, it helped me in the arena of me being able to process my thoughts clearly, and that's very important. And the reason why it's important is because, excuse me, it's no different than if you get a cold or if your check engine light goes on. You got to take that car into a mechanic, let them diagnose it, and then they essentially treat the vehicle. If you're feeling sick and you have a cough, if your throat is hurting, you go into the doctor, they figure out what's going on with you and they treat you. Well, it's the same thing with your mental health. It's important for you to move throughout the world with mental clarity in order for you to know where you're headed in life, who you are as a person, what triggers you, things you don't like, things you do like. It's important for you to speak with a therapist in order for you to be able to process thoughts clearly. Because people will spend that $100 in the club buying drinks. People will go to Specs, spend that same $100 on a bottle of Hennessy or whatever their preference is. Take that same money and spend it on a therapist and talk to a stranger so you can get your mental right. Because you want to be the best spouse you can be for your spouse. You want to be the best dad you can be, the best cousin you can be, the best uncle you can be. And the best way to start with that is the mental. Everything starts with the mental. If you're not up top right here, everything you don't have a good foundation.
Very true. That's very true. And it's crazy. The last person that I had on well, not the last person, the it didn't air yet, but had a person on the podcast and they spoke exactly what you were saying as far as seeking help, especially mentally, and how it's taboo in our community. But it's so helpful for everybody that I know who has done it. Everybody has the same exact thoughts that you have. It kind of reshapes your thinking and helps you to get to where you need to get to. So it's funny you say that because I've been saying I want to do it and I still ain't did it. I think my job even paid for it. So I'm just
Really?
slacking. So I'm glad you said that you the second person back to back. So I'm gonna get on that for sure.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You might have something that's been plaguing you from a childhood. It could be something from a past relationship that you've been carrying for the last 3 years, subconsciously, don't even know it. The last 10 years, don't even know it. You got to be able to release that. And that's what a licensed therapist is there for you to be able to talk to them and release any and everything that you may be going through or that you may have experienced. So to answer your question, man, therapy was essential for me when dealing in with the loss of my little cousin. It also made me grow in other areas. I gained almost like a daughter to me. I gained my
Yeah.
little, I call her my little niece. She really my little cousin, but his daughter Kylie, she is a wonderful young woman. She started varsity this year at Monterey High School, and so she's doing very well. We're gonna figure out what that next step is gonna be for her, whether that's gonna be for her to go to college or join the military or start her own business. So it's been fun watching her grow into the young woman she is. I stepped into the role of being her uncle, once he passed away, and I make sure that I contribute, to her life, not only financially, but I attend as many games as I can. I'm only a phone call or a text away whenever she needs me. My relationship with his mom is great. We talk on a regular basis. Most of the time, she FaceTime me every day. His brother as well. We have a great relationship, and he has a son. He has a son, and I contribute to his son's life as well. And so, I had time to grieve, but I didn't grieve as much as I probably could have or should have because I had to make sure that I was putting myself in the best position possible to be there for his kids and his mom. And so, I miss him. I love him. He's here for me. He comes to me in my dreams all the time. So it's all love. And I get a lot of confirmation from God, through my dreams, from different relatives through my dreams. And so, it's all inclusive, mental, physical, spiritual. It's all inclusive.
Glad you touched on that, like the therapy pieces, the being the uncle, slash father figure, obviously with him passing, for both of his kids. I think that's so dope because a lot of people, whether they have the means or not, some people just don't want to do it. So the fact that you stepped up and did that, I think that shows a lot about you, but also is very helpful for them as in the transition of, going without a father. I know that's got to be tough for anybody. So salute to you for doing that, especially being there for his mom too. I don't want to leave that part out because I know that's a big, void missing in his brother. Salute his brother, man. That's my homie right there. That boy is something else, man. He
Yeah,
he
he
funny,
is.
boy. That's my guy right there, though. Good people, man. Good people.
Yes, sir.
So, to piggyback on that, let's talk about something positive because with you being a part of that situation, it prepared you for something because I believe you a parent. So let's touch on that. From you being a parent, as I know I'm a parent, we became parents further on in life than some of our people around us. So let's touch on that. And what is your biggest joys or the things that make you smile the most about being a parent?
Just watching them grow up, the different phases. I remember, seeing them in hospital, then, transitioning to the home. That was fun because my role was staying up all night. So, to be times in which he make wake up in the middle of the night and we would have that bonding time. And then transitioning to now where we're, on the back end of potty training, and just changing diapers. I've been engulfed in the whole process. I haven't missed anything, you know from the time he came to the hospital, from home from the hospital up until now. He'll be 4 next month. And it's just a joy, seeing yourself in them and just watching, how they move, their thought processes, when they look back to see if you looking at them so they can do little mischievous stuff, it's just a joy, man. It's a joy. It matured me. It matured me because it made me want to be an overall better person so that I can be a positive role model for him and set the example for him on what a real man is and should be at all times, ups, downs, whatever the situation may be. I want to be that example for my son for sure.
And that's dope. I'm glad you said that because I think no matter who you are, what you got going on, if you're a real man, once you have a kid, man, it changes you. Like it does. Like I'm not saying that I'm perfect or anything, but once I had my daughter, man, you start looking at things different. Whether it's going out, you be like, I gotta make it home. Like I got somebody that's
Yeah.
depending on me to get home, or fortunately for me, I have a daughter, and God just paying me back for all the the things that I've done in my past. So I already knew that people are like, you gonna have another kid? Absolutely not, because I'm gonna have another daughter, and I'm not doing that to myself. But I do think I like everything that you said as far as watching the pulling up to the hospital, going home, to staying up late at night, seeing yourself and your kid, man, it's like so amazing. So I most definitely had to touch on that, especially because I just saw y'all took some dope Christmas pictures the other day. So salute to you, man. Because a
Appreciate
lot
it.
of guys ain't out here ain't doing it. It just is what it is. It's just I don't want to say it's not a lot. It is a lot, but it's not many of us that's out there stepping up to the plate, being involved in their kids' life. So man, kudos to you for that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. The pictures came about because my best friend is a woman, Destiny, which we both know. You know her,
Yep.
and Destiny. She was harping on me. You gotta get some pictures with your son. Make sure you take some pictures with your son. And it's a lot of benefits that come into play when having a best friend that is a woman because she sees things from a different lens. Things I might not think about doing, she'll, get in my ear and tell me the importance of it and make me be able to see things, from a different lens. So shout out to Destiny, for putting that plug in my ear. And while I'm giving shout out to Coach Thomas and Coach Wag as well, because Coach Thomas and Coach Wag, the basketball program, the different things that they put you through at Estacada in that basketball program, they definitely gonna shape boys into men. I got homeboys that did not want to go through that off-season program that elected to go to Lubbock High and Coronado and different places like that because they knew going through that Estacada men's basketball program is rigorous to say the least.
And something I can speak on to that is salute to them too, for sure. I didn't even play basketball, but this is what type of people they are. The people that I hung out with played basketball, but they will pull me in. They're like, bro, you got to get them right, or you got to be the example because whether you know it or not, they looking up to you. I'm like, bro, I don't even play basketball. Like, leave me alone. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? But you are right. They are real stand-up guys, and they genuinely care about the community, not only just their team, the community itself, the school, the community of East Lubbock. So salute to them because you are absolutely right. That basketball program is legit. You gonna learn some things, but it's gonna help you in life. Whether you take everything and apply it, it's on you. But they're gonna equip you with those tools, and by the time you leave, it's on you to do it or not. But they gonna give you the tools you need. And boy, hey, salute to them. I'm glad you said that for sure.
Yes, sir. Well stated. Well stated.
Man, so the last few things I want to touch on because for those who don't know, we've been knowing each other our whole life, but I moved
Right.
to Angelo, I moved to Alpine, so every time I come back, we chop it up, you know what I'm saying? He be telling
Yes,
me some
sir.
stuff that I didn't even know last time, but I said, we won't talk about it on camera, but my boy is, like he said, he's doing well for himself, so I appreciate that. I'm
Yes,
glad
sir.
that you are. But it's something that I be seeing on Snap and I'm like, man, when I knew we were setting this up, I said I gotta touch on it, man. I give kudos where when it's due, man. My boy be fly. That boy put that jersey on your ass, man. He put that jersey and them J's on you. He gonna put the two fingers up. You know what I'm saying? My boy be fly. So let's touch on that, man. What made you wanna, put that shit on, as they say, man? What changed or cause like you always been a polo type of guy, like that's always been you. So like, what made you want to really get down like that? Because when I see you, I'm like, man, that boy remind me of Fabulous, man. That boy stay stunned out here, man, and be flat in the mug. So touch on that, man, for a little bit.
Well, you have the social media influence, the Instagram, the Snapchats of the world, and then YouTube and all of that kind of stuff. But then I just like to go with what feels natural to me, and I felt like okay, I'm in the gym now. Let me see how I feel about myself in a jersey. So once I start rocking the jerseys with the fitted caps, and I'm getting certain looks from the ladies, they telling me, hey, Ryan, you look good. I like that outfit on you. It gives you a different look. Oh, that's all it took. Once I
One
seen
time,
that,
that's it.
that was it. Once the ladies was complimenting the jersey look, oh, that's what they say less. Say less. I can rock the jerseys for y'all. Yeah. So that's how that came about. I got one compliment or two compliments from some nice looking young ladies, and it took off from there.
Man, I'm glad you mentioned that because that was the last thing I wanted to touch on is the fitness stuff. So it's funny you said that. Like before, like I mean, of course, I ain't never really been out of shape, but you know, when you get older, like metabolism, you might get a little stomach or something. But I remember one time I wanted to work out with my cousin, rocking him, and they was like, "Bro, you ain't serious." So for about 2 or 3 weeks straight, I just did push-ups. You know what I'm saying? I'm doing push-ups on their ass, like hitting it. So I finally would go down to his house, like, "Oh, you really want to work out? All right, come with us." Man, I worked out one time with them. It sucks, by the way. You know, and I stayed consistent. And probably like 2 weeks later, this girl was like, "Shit, you been working out?" Shit, I ain't left the gym since. I ain't left the gym since, man. So I
Yeah.
agree 100%. I don't even need to. One girl say, "Damn, you been working out." That's all I need. So to wrap this up, like let's talk about your fitness journey. What got you started on fitness, and what are some things that keep you motivated? Because I see you post the pictures with the burpees. My boy be in there bench pressing 500 pounds. So my boy right in there, man. So let's talk about that to wrap up tonight.
My fitness journey started out 2 years ago, two and a half years ago. I was partying in Dallas. I'm overweight at the time, eating what I want to eat, drinking liquor, just living life. And I fainted on a plane coming back from Dallas, Texas. And the my doctor ran all these different tests. He said you borderline for diabetes. You got high blood pressure. You need to lose about 20 pounds. So I tripled that and went and lost 60 pounds. You know, I started swimming and doing cardio initially, and then heard about the last 6 months, 6 to 8 to 10 months, somewhere in there, I've been more focused on weight training. And so, man, that was one of the best things. You know, it was kind of like a plane, but then everything that came after that, me taking my health seriously from my eating habits to making sure I'm getting adequate amount of rest to making sure I'm drinking plenty of water and that I'm putting the right things in my body. It's a lifestyle now, and so I'm taking my black seed oil, I'm taking my Irish sea moss. I love moringa. I have different teas that I drink and I implement every day, thanks to Destiny again with the teas for sure. But man, just health is wealth. And it's like, you know what, if I wanna be the best person that I can be, how can I be that if I'm not serious about my health? Okay, your finances are in order. Okay, you got your mental right. Well, why does your body have to look like that? No, let's go ahead and whip that in the shape as well. And so when you got your finances in order, you got your mind right, and you look and feel good, then it all comes together and it gives you that confidence inside and out in order to go out into the world and put your best foot forward to be the best person you can be for society.
Man, I'm so glad you said that. That just wrapped it all full circle. Because I'm coming to Lubbock tomorrow, man. So
Okay.
we're gonna have to sit down and go to lunch. I need to pick your brain because my
Okay.
finances is shot, man. Like since I've been here, man, I didn't fell off. So I need to sit down to pick your brain about some different stuff, man. So I'm most definitely gonna do that because my body is kind of right. My mental is kind of right, but my finances is not. So I need to, like you said, I need to get all three of the things working. The other two I can control. The other one I need some help. So I'm
Yes,
gonna
sir.
sit down and pick your brain on that for sure.
Okay, let's do it because the last time I don't remember what came up, but we weren't able to do lunch.
No,
And so I owe you that lunch, man. Lunch on me
yeah.
tomorrow. I got you, fam.
Yeah, we gonna do that. Man, as we come to the end of this, once again, I appreciate all the knowledge you have bestowed on us today because it was good, man. As I said, we never really had a sit down talk like this. We probably ain't talked this long, maybe since like high school or something. So this
Yeah.
was good to kind of catch up with you. But I think it's dope because I knew a lot of the stuff about you, but the people who gonna watch this podcast get to learn a little bit more about about you, who they from the outside looking in, they just probably see what they see, but after hearing this today, I think that they will be more in tune with who you are and how you became who you became and the things that you will continue to do. So I once again 100% from the bottom, I appreciate you joining the Sun Get It Sun Done podcast, man. I sure appreciate that. I'm glad we finally got it going, man. So thank you once again for that.
Thank you for having me, man. I'm glad I was able to come on the show. I'm glad you thought about me, even considering me to come on the show, because at the end of the day, I feel like we're all here to create, connect, and contribute. So thank you for having me on, man. I'm glad to be able to contribute to you and your podcast for sure.
Man, I appreciate that. Like as you said, man, I'm gonna hit you up tomorrow. I should be there around like 1 o'clock. So I know you got some busy things, but like I said, I'm gonna be there like, to Sunday. So if we can't make it work tomorrow, I got more days, man. The good
Let's
Lord say the
knock it on
same.
out
So
tomorrow. That way I can't make no excuses. Tomorrow, one or 1:30, I'm gonna be hitting you.
okay. Well, I sure appreciate that, man. You have a good one.
Yes, sir. Likewise, brother.
All right.